This parasite eats its victims from the inside, then hijacks their brain. What you're about to witness isn't science fiction. It's not a horror movie. This is real life, and it's happening right now, in streams and forests across the globe. I'm Patrick, and welcome to Speculative Science, where we explore the most mind-bending phenomena in nature and beyond. Today, I'm going to tell you about one of the most disturbing biological relationships ever discovered. A creature so sinister, so perfectly evolved for horror, that it makes Hollywood monsters look tame by comparison. This is the story of the hairworm and its puppet, the praying mantis. Picture this, a praying mantis, that elegant predator you've seen perched on garden leaves, is hunting near a stream on a warm summer evening. Its triangular head swivels with mechanical precision. Those alien eyes scan for prey. It's a perfect killing machine, or so it thinks. But the mantis has already been compromised. Weeks ago, maybe even months, this creature made a fatal mistake. It drank from a puddle, or perhaps it ate an infected cricket. In that single moment, something entered its body, something patient, something with a plan. The hairworm larva is microscopic when it first invades. Smaller than the period at the end of this sentence, it slips past the mantis's defenses without triggering a single alarm. No pain, no symptoms, no warning whatsoever. And then it begins to grow. Inside the mantis's body cavity, the parasite feeds. Not on the mantis's vital organs. No, that would kill the host too quickly. Instead, it consumes the fat reserves, the stored energy, the non-essential tissues. It's surgical in its precision, calculated in its cruelty. Day by day, the worm grows longer, thinner, winding. Through the mantis's insides, like a coiled nightmare, 1 inch becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8. The mantis continues hunting, continues living its life. It has no idea that it's no longer alone in its own body. By the time the hairworm reaches its full size, it can be 12 inches long, sometimes even longer. Let me put that in perspective. The mantis itself is only about 3 inches long. Imagine having a parasite inside you that's 4 times your body length. Imagine it coiled up in your abdomen, filling every available space, pressing against your organs. Now imagine you don't even know it's there. But here's where this story takes a turn from merely disgusting to absolutely terrifying. The hairworm isn't content to just live inside the mantis forever. It has a goal, a destination, and to reach it, the worm needs something that should be impossible. It needs the mantis to commit suicide. You see, the hairworm is aquatic. To complete its life cycle, to reproduce and spawn the next generation, it must return to water. But there's a problem. Praying mantises are terrestrial insects. They avoid water. They're not strong swimmers. For a mantis, entering a body of water is almost certainly a death sentence. So how does a parasite, living inside a land-dwelling insect, get back to the water it needs to survive? It rewires its host's brain. This is where the true horror begins. This is where biology becomes something out of a psychological thriller. Scientists still don't fully understand the mechanism, but the evidence is undeniable. When the hairworm reaches maturity, it begins releasing proteins, neurochemicals, that infiltrate the mantis's nervous system. These chemicals cross into the brain and fundamentally alter the insect's behavior. The mantis, which has spent its entire life as a terrestrial hunter, suddenly develops an obsession with water. Think about that for a moment. The parasite is literally rewriting the mantis's desires. It's overriding millions of years of evolutionary programming with its own agenda. The mantis begins to feel an irresistible pull toward light, reflecting off water surfaces. That glimmer that once meant nothing, or perhaps even danger, now becomes the most important thing in the world. An addiction, an obsession, a compulsion that cannot be ignored. Researchers who study this phenomenon describe it as behavioral manipulation, but that sterile term doesn't capture the true horror of what's happening. This is mind control, This is one organism reaching into another's consciousness and pulling the strings like a puppeteer. As night falls, the infected mantis abandons its normal behavior patterns. It stops hunting. It stops hiding from predators. It has only one goal now, one thought consuming its hijacked mind. Get to the water, watch any video of this phenomenon, and you'll see something deeply disturbing. The mantis approaches the water with an eerie, zombie-like determination. There's no hesitation, no self-preservation instinct kicking in at the last moment. It simply walks in. For an insect that has spent its entire life on land, this should trigger every survival instinct it has. But those instincts are gone now, overwritten by the parasites' chemical commands. The mantis wades into the stream or pond, the water rising over its legs, then its thorax, then its head, and still, it doesn't turn back. It can't turn back. This is the moment the hairworm has been waiting for. The parasite begins to move. Inside the drowning mantis, the worm uncoils its impossibly long body. It starts to push its way out, usually through the mantis's abdominal segments or through the membrane near the base of the legs. The emergence is grotesque. A thin, dark tendril begins to emerge from the mantis's body. Then more and more. The worm seems to keep coming forever, foot after foot of writhing parasite, impossibly long, spilling out of a body that seems far too small to have contained it. Imagine looking down at your own stomach and seeing something start to push its way out from inside. Now imagine that thing just keeps coming, uncoiling like a garden hose, longer than you are tall, thrashing in the water. That's what's happening to the mantis. The mantis itself is still alive during this process. Its legs still move. Its antennae still twitch. It's conscious as the thing that has been living inside it for months finally reveals itself and abandons ship. Within minutes, the hairworm is completely free. It swims away into the depths, ready to find a mate and start the cycle all over again. And the mantis? The mantis is left as a hollow shell. Quite literally, the parasite has consumed so much of its internal tissue that there's almost nothing left. Even if it could escape the water, which it almost never does, it's too damaged to survive. The mantis drowns, or it starves, or it simply dies from the massive trauma of having a foot-long worm tear its way out of its body. But here's the thing that haunts me most about this story. Until those final moments, until the worm took control and forced it into the water, the mantis probably felt normal. It went about its life hunting, mating, surviving, never knowing it was already dead, never knowing it was being eaten alive from the inside. Now you might be thinking, okay, Patrick, that's disturbing, but it's just an insect. It's far removed from my life. But here's what should really terrify you. The hairworm is far from unique. This kind of parasitic mind control is everywhere in nature. It's not an aberration, it's a strategy, an evolutionary solution that has been discovered independently by dozens of different species. There's Toxoplasma gondii, a parasite that infects rats and makes them sexually attracted to cat urine, the scent of their primary predator. The parasite needs to get inside a cat to reproduce, so it makes the rat want to get eaten. There's Ophiocordyceps, the famous zombie ant fungus that forces ants to climb to a specific height and location before clamping their jaws onto a leaf, where the fungus erupts from their heads to spread its spores. There are parasites that make fish swim to the surface to be eaten by birds. Parasites that make crabs walk into the open to be spotted by predators. Parasites that make crickets and grasshoppers drown themselves, just like the mantis. The list goes on. And here's the truly unsettling question. If these parasites can hijack the complex behaviors of their hosts so precisely, what else is possible? Let me take this to its logical and deeply uncomfortable conclusion. Remember Toxoplasma gondii, that cat parasite I mentioned? It doesn't just infect rats, it infects humans too. In fact, it's estimated that up to 1/3 of the human population is currently infected with Toxoplasma. Now, the scientific community is divided on this, but there's growing evidence that Toxoplasma might subtly alter human behavior too. Some studies suggest infected individuals are more likely to take risks, have slower reaction times, and might even have higher rates of certain psychiatric conditions. I'm not saying we're being mind-controlled by parasites. The evidence isn't that strong, and correlation doesn't equal causation. But the mere possibility raises profound questions about free will and autonomy. How much of what we think of as us, our desires, our fears, our decision-making, is actually under our own control? What if some of our impulses, our cravings, our seemingly inexplicable compulsions aren't really ours at all? The mantis never knew it was being controlled. It walked into that water, thinking it was making its own choice, following its own desires. From the inside, mind control probably feels like free will. How would we know the difference? But let's step back from the existential horror for a moment and appreciate the sheer evolutionary brilliance of what the hairworm has achieved. Think about the chain of events that has to work perfectly for this parasite to succeed. First, the larvae have to survive in aquatic environments, waiting for an intermediate host, usually a mosquito larva or other aquatic insect, to consume them. Then, that intermediate host has to mature and be eaten by a terrestrial insect like a cricket or grasshopper. Then, that cricket or grasshopper has to be eaten by a mantis or other suitable host. Then, the parasite has to grow inside the mantis for months without killing it. Then, it has to produce exactly the right neurochemicals to override the mantis's behavior at exactly the right time. Then, it has to find its way back to water to complete its life cycle. And this entire process has to work reliably enough that the species survives and propagates. The precision required is staggering, and yet, hairworms have been doing this successfully for millions of years. They've outlived dinosaurs, they've survived mass extinctions, they've adapted to countless different hosts and environments. This is evolution as horror movie, yes, but it's also evolution as masterpiece. So what do we take away from the story of the mantis and the zombie worm? Maybe it's a reminder that nature doesn't care about our sensibilities. Evolution doesn't optimize for comfort or fairness. It optimizes for survival, and sometimes the results are beautiful, and sometimes they're nightmarish. Maybe it's a humbling recognition that we're not as separate from these alien dramas as we'd like to think. We're part of the same biological web, subject to the same fundamental forces. Or maybe, and this is what keeps me up at night, maybe it's a warning. A reminder to question our certainties about consciousness, free will, and autonomy. The mantis never knew it was infected. It went about its life, feeling normal right up until the moment it walked into the water. From its perspective, everything was fine, until suddenly, catastrophically, it wasn't. What are we not seeing? What are we not questioning? What invisible influences might be shaping our own behavior in ways we can't perceive? I don't have answers to these questions. Nobody does. But I think they're worth asking. This has been Speculative Science. I'm Patrick, and if this story made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're paying attention. The universe is stranger and more terrifying than we usually allow ourselves to acknowledge. But it's also more fascinating, more intricate, more worthy of our wonder and investigation. If you want to explore more biological nightmares and scientific mysteries that challenge everything you thought you knew about reality, make sure you're subscribed and hit that notification bell. We're just getting started. Drop a comment below. What's the most disturbing parasite or biological phenomenon you've ever heard of? I read every single one, and your suggestions help shape future episodes. And remember, the next time you see a praying mantis near water, look closely. You might be witnessing the final act of one of nature's most horrifying dramas. Thanks for watching. Stay curious, stay skeptical, And whatever you do, watch what you drink.